Okay, Valerie. Well, it's nice to have you in my office today. So, just tell me a little bit about you and what brings you into the office.
So I'm here because I always wanted to be a nurse and managed to get myself through most of school to become an LPN. And that was sufficient to support my family. And a lot of change has occurred, and I just moved, and I don't want to work as a nurse anymore. And I think that's weird.
So, it sounds like this need for something new is causing you a bit of distress since you wanted to be a nurse for as long as you did, and now that you are, it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't, yeah, it's just not jiving. Like even, yeah, I don't know. I just don't, but I don't really have anything that I want to do, so I might as well do it. But I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Do you think that your move, the big move, has maybe caused a little fatigue now that you've gotten back into work?
Right. So maybe my soul is just tired.
Yeah. Do you see yourself doing something differently? Anything in particular, or
I have no passion except to go to the beach. That's what I want to do, is go to the beach. So maybe I need some more rest. But I was thinking that would be fine. Like that's acceptable. It's been a lot of change. I got married, I moved, had another court battle, had some success with that, had a granddaughter, and I'm in a completely new area and I have no friends, and I'm sort of okay with that most days. And I thought, I don't really want to do anything that's emotionally taxing, and that's nursing. It's very emotionally taxing.
sounds like your personal life has been going through so much change that it's kind of affecting your performance at work or your drive at work.
I think drive, yeah. I mean, I can do it.
Yeah.
I know myself enough to know that I'm not being fair to the patients I am with. So in that sense, I don't have any drive, and that's not a good place to be when caring for people. And I don't even need to succeed anymore. Like there was this big drive in me to be a successful nurse, a big drive in me to finish my degree, and I don't want to do that. But I don't know why. It just happened.
Well, it sounds to me like you really do have a passion for people. You're just, in a way, kind of stuck in this really, I'm not where I want to be, and it kind of surprises you.
It does surprise me. It does. Because even outside of like nursing, I go to church. I don't talk to anybody. I'm a social person. So part of me thinks it's a matter of just getting out there and doing it, and part of me just wonders if I'm depressed. So I don't know.
It sounds like you've got a lot of things all over your head, just hitting you all over.
But it's not bad. Like it's not bad stuff. It's good stuff. That's what I think I'm tripped up on. It's like I'm in a relationship I absolutely want to be in. A mother, and I love that, and I love my home. I love a little bit of this area that I've gotten to see. I'm not opposed to that change. Heck, I've been trying to get out of Maryland for 30 years. You know, I'm finally out.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do
Do you usually handle change pretty well?
with it. I think so.
Yeah.
Because even in this job, that's the beautiful thing about nursing, you know, aside from the passionate drive to help and heal, is when you get burnt out in a particular department, you just switch departments. You move.
Yeah.
And that's great. So you can go from hospice or the ER to the NICU
Yeah.
to psych nursing. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't want to do any of it.
Well, that does sound like a pro to maybe staying in this field, but what do you see the cons being?
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm not. I feel guilty that I don't. That I'm not. I don't feel like I'm giving 110% to the patient. And with that comes, am I going to make a mistake? But I'm pretty systematic in my documentation. But that's a whole nother world. Like, nursing isn't even about patient care anymore. I mean, it's like 5% patient care. The rest of it's charting. That irritates me.
It sounds to me almost like maybe nursing or being a nurse wasn't exactly what you thought it might be.
Well, there's that.
Is that a safe assumption?
It is. It's and I think nursing is changing, and everything changes. That's not always a bad thing, right? So you know that intellectually, but it is tough because, like, I looked at a job the other day that was a CNA job, a certified nursing assistant job, and you know they pay absolutely nothing, and you work your butt off, you know, for 8 or 12 hours. But you know they actually do patient contact.
Right.
They actually, you know, are bathing and dressing and loving and feeding, you know, and they're hands-on. Like, that's what their job is the whole time. So I do think nursing has changed, one from the idea that you have, right? But I've done it for 5 years. But and I had some really good moments, a lot of good moments. You know. But it's like I was telling my dad that, you know how a lot of people go through life and they're like, I just want to impact somebody. Like, I just want to do something important. Like, I did that. I'm very thankful that I got to do that. Outside of like my kids or, you know, like that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of moments I can think about that were beautiful. And I know that I was an asset in that patient's life. And that's great. And that's where I want it to stay. And I don't want it anymore.
You don't.
Because there's such an emotionally taxing toll that comes with it. You're exhausted.
So that sounds to me like you've identified some of the cons of staying in the career that you're in.
Very balanced.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. My 16-year-old thinks I'm having a midlife crisis because of it. What do they know?
Well, I think you've already identified kind of some more of the pros and cons of going outside of your field as well. You know, you mentioned CNA jobs. I mean, you know, they're doing the hands-on work that you thought you would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you've got the pay difference, and that's a concern for you, it sounds.
It's just an unfair system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a system that I'm not going to fix. And that's the other frustrating thing is inside of a facility, everything's measured in such a way that there's not a focus on patient care very often. Mm-hmm. It's about patient satisfaction, which means a whole lot of other things. It's about, you know, yeah, it's a lot. And it's not about the patient. And so I feel like when I'm on the floor, I get pulled from doing what I do well, and that is loving the person.
Yeah.
Instead, I have to go, answer phone calls from the lab or, administer some med or some psych patient's going crazy down the hall.
So I hear that you kind of have a differentiation between what patient care is and what patient satisfaction is. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
I
think
think so.
tell me a little more about how you differentiate
So, right, that's what I was going with. I'm sorry. I'm never going to fix this problem. It's a bigger problem. It's in our healthcare, right? But
Right.
we're more worried about um, patient care. To me, is addressing the patient as typically a holistic, but it depends on the department. ER, you're not looking at a holistic approach. You're focused approach, and so um, if a code comes in or you have a diabetic patient that just fell out or the doctor is screaming about, whatever, you're going to those things. You're making sure your patient is cared for, but no, they don't have a blanket at this moment or a sandwich tray or, stupid stuff like that gets filled out on a customer satisfaction or patient satisfaction card. And that's what hospitals look at for your department.
Right.
And you're graded essentially on that. And that infuriates me.
Right.
I don't want to have anything to do with it. And then if you don't chart everything just perfectly so, you're threatened, I feel like there's always a threat of going to court. There's a lot of fear of that.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that you're concerned about the healthcare system and how they're putting way more weight on kind of saving their own butt, basically, and not paying attention to what really matters.
Right.
Worrying about more about liability than actually saving lives, making lives better.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel. And there's even a component that, and this is why it's so big, like something like I could never fix it, but so it's all those results, all those surveys, all those return customers, like that's all insurance.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, like an insurance company's going to get paid or it's not going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance companies are wanting to get together with certain stigma hospitals versus other hospitals. So now there's more pressure that you're still working 312s and now you have to go to school and get your bachelor's, and I just don't think anybody cares about the nurses anymore. And that's not, I don't know if the hospital should really care about the nurses. I feel like it's one thing you don't have to care about us as nurses. It's another thing to force us to not be able to care for our patients. Does that make sense?
Yeah. With all that being said, I mean, it sounds to me like you're concerned about your passion, your skills, your talents. They really aren't going in the direction that you really want them to because of the limitations of the healthcare system. Would you say that makes sense?
Yeah. And it's not even like, back to the CNA thing. It's like, I mean, there's a great, huge difference between what a CNA makes, what an LPN makes, and what an RN makes. I'm used to an LPN pay. It's significantly less since I've moved. But my role is no longer, the breadwinner. So I don't have that pressure anymore, which is an interesting conversation on its own that I've had to figure out. But so do you take the huge pay cut and do what you love? I don't even know if I can because you have to have a license to be a CNA. So I don't even know if that's a possibility. Or do I take my passion and maybe you're right. Maybe I still do love caring for the patient. I just need to figure out another way to do it. And maybe that's a shelter, or maybe that's a mission trip, or maybe that's, I don't know, maybe it's something different, like bigger than just a rehab center or a hospital.
Are these some things that have been kind of bouncing around in your head for a while, or is this something that's just kind of popped up for the past few minutes?
No, it was weird that I I couldn't really get a job when I first moved down here because I was going back and forth. And so once I finally got court done and kids established and school started, and it's like, all right, it's time to buckle down and get a job. And I had this inner turmoil that I wouldn't tell a soul about. And I knew it was bouncing around in there, but I didn't say anything until I was in Texas. And I was talking to an aunt who apparently was an ICU nurse. I had no idea because do you know what she's been doing for the last 20 years? Selling fancy carpets. So I'm like, wait, what? I always thought she was a salesperson. Always. Right. No, she went through a divorce. She got her RN. That was how she supported her kids. She worked for 8 years in the ICU. She said, I'm going to blow this place up. I have to quit. And she said she never went back. And she thought she just needed a break. Mm-hmm. She was on burnout. And she ended up finding different passions. And apparently she loves sales. And apparently she's very good at it. But I thought, as she was the first person that I admitted to, I don't
want to do this. So you identified strongly with her experience.
Yes. Yes. But it's like I was telling my older daughter the other day, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And she's like, Mom, you worked way too hard to say. And I'm like, and that's not a knock to her. It's just, it provided food and financial safety for my family when I needed it. And it even fulfilled a long time high school passion. If I need a break, so of course I do it just to make money. And I feel guilt. So then that rolls up into, it's just this progressive,
word, like bad emotions.
Right, but I don't even have an exit strategy because I don't even know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Mo mentioned, let's do real estate. This place is hopping, and it will be for like 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe. So how do you exit the cycle when you don't even have a new goal? What's my goal?
Yeah. Sounds to me like you're going from a career that was just out of necessity. And now that you're in a different position, it's not necessarily the thing you have to do.
So it's giving me room to think. I don't want to be that person it's too big of a world out
there. And I feel like you are concerned about your capability of caring for someone to the fullest extent of your abilities if your heart isn't as in it as you would like it to be.
I mean, I can check the boxes and I can. I want to be that person. I want to be 110%. And maybe that's too much to ask. I don't know. Maybe I should talk to some seasoned nurses and ask them, how have you been doing this for 30 years? Maybe you don't give 110%. Maybe it's okay to check boxes. Maybe I should let go of that guilt. I don't know. I guess I could do that.
That might be a good resource. It sounds like you're kind of battling with this, your own moral compass, though. That almost sounds like you're not okay with that.
Yeah. But maybe I should be if it's what other people do to survive. I don't know. Because is the expectation too high then?
So what are some resources that you could maybe pursue if there is something out there that you could do differently?
Well, differently?
Or, something something
well,
new.
I was thinking about, maybe I should go back to hospice, right? Because hospice, you're not in there. Okay, so it's very easy to get irritated when you have your same people coming into the ER. Or you're doing home health and you're seeing the same people that I just discharged you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Why are you back? You listen to nothing I say to you. So, or you get them resources. And I hate meals like this. It's disgusting. You're just like, Yeah, and that's where I'm getting. And before I would be like, okay, let's look at other resources. Now I'm like, what? So I was like, well, maybe in hospice I could go back to that because, everybody's gonna die. Like, there's not like the goal is like a peaceful, pain-free death.
End of life care.
Right, and really, support to the family. Because then my expectations won't be so so high. But I don't know. I mean, I did meet with a real estate lady the other day that, I mean, I guess she's been doing it 4 years. She loves it. But, she's sitting there. Everybody brags about the money that real estate agents make. But my first question to her after she was done bragging about it was, well, how long have you been doing this? Like, you had to build up to this $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
So while that's like, woo, sign me up, I'm like, let's be real, you've worked hard to establish, a client base. And is that, because I do need to make some money, so is that something that's a tangible goal? Yeah, at the time.
In that situation, you're kind of concerned about, is everyone that goes into real estate that successful?
So you know what? It kind of takes me back to like Mary Kay days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was very I'm a self-starter. I don't have a problem doing online schooling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem working from home. I can get up, I can motivate myself, I can get things done and task oriented kind of thing. But so Mary Kay though, right? So who do they use to rope you in? Are the national sales directors who are all bling bling and driving their souped up caddies, and they're making $25,000 a month. And of course they're going to make a copy of their check and show everybody that they can, and everybody watching's like, what? And I'm the one sitting in the back going, how have you been doing this, Pam?
Yeah.
While it's all legit, it's real. What is the percentage of you? There's 10 of us in this room. Like how likely is that?
Yeah.
And I was very successful. And had my ex not been deployed for 9/11, I would have been driving around in a cute little car too. But so it kind of like sales, I don't know if it scares me. I don't think it scares me. I think I just don't know. I don't know enough about
it. Sounds like something that could be of interest, but
Right. You put, $1,500, $2,000 investment into something, like, you want to succeed.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know. I put this in and this in and this in. I want to know in 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months.
Sounds like you're the type of person that really needs to see your results of your work pretty soon.
I do.
And I guess in nursing, in a way, that was something. I mean, nursing probably did provide that for you to some extent.
I think so, and I think within nursing, that's why I loved wound care so much, and I was very good at wound care. I loved to study it. I wanted to know what makes different wounds, what are the treatments for different wounds, like what are the physiological components that are causing these wounds. Like, I loved it, and it's very results based.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We've got a little bit of a theme here.
Val needs results. Or there's no success. Well, and what's funny is I mentioned the other day, so I was like tears and tears and tears because why? I'm not feeling successful. I'm not feeling, I've been doing this, home job for a while now, and I finally got a couple patients, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a good day. I don't know, my whole perspective's going to change because I'm going to be in front of patients again, right?
Yeah.
No. But what came out of the end of that day was I'm in the car with Mo, and I said, well, I finally brought something to the table. And he was like, what? Your value is not based on, but I don't know if I measure other people that way. I don't think so. Because I like people, and I want people to feel loved and cared for. But I do measure I measure things,
Are you
including
measuring
myself.
maybe your value based on what you're bringing into your home
That's what I'm saying.
monetarily?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was in tears the other day because
Right.
I don't offer anything. I don't bring anything to the table. I can't do it. Like, I'm not successful. You know, and the emotion at the end of the day last night was, oh, well, God, at least I finally contributed, brought something to the table.
So it sounds like you, on the one hand, your husband's not pressuring you, but on the other hand, you've got this your own self pressure, like you're pressuring yourself, and you're not sure what to do with the.
I don't know what to do with it. And while he's not pressuring me making money would be our fun money. So I look at that as, well, that's just great. We can't do anything fun. Like, I want to go get my nails done. I can't do that. If you just be successful, you could do your nails done. It wouldn't be a big deal to put a budget on Mary's prom dress. Like, It wouldn't be, like, I don't want those parameters. I want to be just, not parameters. I won't say that. That makes me sound like a diva. That's not what I mean. But I don't want to be the reason that we can't have
So on one hand, you want to be able to have a little bit of extra. But on the other hand, you know, the extra isn't what really makes the home.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not necessity.
Yeah.
It is something.
Yeah.
And that was what Rose said it last night, and my girlfriend said to me the other day, I think that your value system is based off of what you can do for somebody. No, that's crazy. More than I'm listening to myself talk.
Okay. Well, I mean, we are running out of time, but I hope that this was a really useful experience for you to just kind of juggle some of this ambivalence that you've experienced with your career and your move and a new family life. Thanks. I hope that you can find something that you're passionate about, because it does sound like in general you're a very impassioned person that wants to influence the people around you.
Well, we'll see if I can figure out what it is.
Hopefully you can find some resources, whether that be people or a different kind of agency that helps you find that.
I'll let you know next time.
All right. If you want to come see me again.
That's great.
Okay, and so this will be the part where I'm actually going to critique myself.
Okay. You're gonna leave?
No, you're fine.
Oh,
You can sit with me. Hey, Dr. Cecil. So, this is my cousin. I'm using all my family members for my videos. But yeah, I feel like I tried to incorporate the different types of reflections, whether it be just a simple reflection or kind of amplify something into something she maybe not necessarily said out loud. But I feel like there were a couple of occasions where I said something and you were kind of like, whoa.
You too.
And then of course I tried to implement some double-sided reflection, when you heard me do the one hand, but then on the other hand.
Okay.
That's kind of what that was. Yeah.
And that's pros and cons too.
Yeah, the pros and cons. I tried to explore kind of what we've been doing in class is exploring if I do change. Here's a quadrant of pro and con if I do change, and then the other two quadrants are if I don't change. Here are the pros and cons of not changing. And so I feel like we did a pretty good job of exploring, like, if she stays in her LPN career, then yeah, sure, she could make the money that she had been making, and if need be, she can switch different departments. It's pretty versatile, pretty flexible career. But at the same time, the cons of it are you're just not really happy with it, and kind of struggling with this, like I don't want to. I love how you said I just don't want to just check the boxes. Really want to be in there and doing the 10%. And then we explored, like, what if you did something else? And maybe you would be able to implement your talents and your skills and into something different and still make an impact.
Coffee shop, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, you're addicted to coffee.
I am addicted to coffee.
I think Dr. Cecil would be able to totally relate to that. Kind of a coffee addict himself. But yeah, I feel like you actually got something.
I do, actually. It's funny. I want to email my therapist back home and be like, you are never going to believe what just happened. This was good.
My little MSW, my student cousin.
Because I think most people they just need, we've got it. We just have to figure out how to unlock it.
Yeah.
And when you ask particular, even phrasing in questions, I think can make, help form a thought, or help form the words to get the thought out.
Right. And the more I practice this, the more I'm realizing how impactful an outside party is. Like, just rewording something and it just makes something click. It's cool. Yeah. It's really cool.
She's doing great.
But yeah, what else to say, really? I mean, I'm really liking the whole reflecting. In my last video, I did something fairly similar, and it's just like, you think of a therapist asking questions more so, when really I'm just kind of reflecting back to you what you already said, but in a different way.
That's true.
Yeah, and
that's
then,
sneaky.
I mean, instead of a bunch of questions fueling the conversation, it's literally just a bunch of back and forth of, like, reflecting,
Well, and it makes the client feel heard, right? Mm-hmm. And two, it helps the client, well, you have to own that. That's your stuff.
Yeah.
So there's now a sense of ownership on me that I'm thinking, I need to dig a little deeper and see what my values-based worth system thing going on. You know what I mean? And you don't realize that until it's stated back to you.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I like it.
Good.
I read it. Thanks for the help.